Welcome to the Sunday Sit Down. I'm Reverend Phil Dieke, one of the pastors here at White Rock United Methodist Church. You're here with us at the Sunday Sit Down, and this is the post-Thanksgiving Sunday Sit Down. Sit Down, right? We came out of the Faithful Friction series, and we're turning now to Advent. And what a joy to be here in the space of Advent. Faithful Friction was definitely a heavier series, and our sit-downs were a little heavier too with Lisa Hancock, and what a joy it was to have her. But talk about some heavy stuff. So if you missed those sit-downs, you can go back on our YouTube channel or on our podcast channel, and you can find all those sit-downs. It was really great stuff in how to deal with conflict and dispute resolution. But now we're shifting gears because it's Advent. Look, we have Christmas decorations up, and I didn't want to miss Thanksgiving, right? Like we passed Thanksgiving now, but I still have my cup of gratitude to just let you know that I'm still embracing the Thanksgiving gratitude aspect of it because it doesn't end with Thanksgiving. But anyway, all that to say, I wanted to shift gears. Again, last year was a little heavy. I want to shift gears in the sit down, and I want you to just get to know a little bit more about this staff, the people who work tirelessly to make sure that these things happen, right? The sit down, worship, all the things that happen with the church. And so recently we had Dexter Evans, who is really the man behind the scenes on everything we do here. He does a lot of our tech stuff, a lot of our production stuff. He was on the Day After Sunday podcast, which we do again on the Day After Sunday on Mondays. And he joined Mitchell for that. And now I wanted to have him join us on the sit down as well. So Dexter, thanks for being here.
Hey, everybody.
This is weird for me because he's here, but I have to just turn my body ever so slightly to see where he is, but keep looking at the camera.
Yeah, just keep talking to that camera.
I know, see, this is what he does. He's our production guy, and he makes sure that we stay on track here. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just sit down with people who are on staff here and some of the folks that you just don't see on camera as much typically, and I wanted to talk about what is it that you love about Christmas, right? What is it, the Advent season and leading into the holiday of Christmas and the traditions and the things that we really love about this season? And so I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving, and I'm the kind of person who typically you can't celebrate Christmas until Thanksgiving's over because I love Thanksgiving. And in my family, one of our big traditions was always you had Thanksgiving dinner, and you went straight from Thanksgiving dinner to somebody else's house because there's a compound. We kind of call it the Dieke compound in Fairgrove, Missouri. And we go from one house to the next house, and the next house, then my aunt and uncle had already put up their Christmas tree, and all the presents are there. So that side of the family, we did Thanksgiving and Christmas all on the same day. It's like the best of both worlds. How could you not love Thanksgiving, right? Not this year. Wah, wah, wah. Do we have that cued?
We do not have that cue.
So that's one of my favorite traditions, starting with Thanksgiving all the way through Christmas. I just love that aspect. It was like a whole month-long tradition. So Dex, I just want to know, when you think back on Christmas, what are the things the first thing that kind of pops to your head? What are the first traditions or things that, rituals maybe that you did as a family that really jump out to you?
Yeah, because it's probably 2020 that I definitely think of family and being with family first and foremost. Ultimately, I don't know what Christmas is going to look like. Thanksgiving was pretty dry. We didn't really get to see family in that sense. So I'm a little bummed about that. But then moving on to Christmas, I'm maybe. We'll see what happens. But from a tradition standpoint, I definitely think that Christmas is equated to family for me. And I think that's what's really fun about it. And then after that, it's not really food. Thanksgiving kind of takes that realm a little bit more so, but then it drops into activities that we do as a family. I think there's a lot of traditions. I remember a lot of puzzle making type stuff, exploring farms or ranches wherever we go when it comes to Christmas time. We used to go to other states and enjoy mountains with snow and stuff like that. So those kind of outdoorsy or activity and groups type of thing really fills my mind.
Yeah, family for sure is a big part of it, and I just talked about presents and all that stuff, and every time my daughters are like, what about the presents? I'm like, no,
right.
There's more than just presents.
Right.
It's just family. We get to be together and celebrate together. So, yeah, I love that. Are there any traditions y'all did as kid, or that you really have stuck with you, and if you've kind of brought now that you have two kiddos at home and a lovely wife as well? Are there any things that you really just brought with you that you couldn't let go of?
Probably baking. Baking would be my best guess. Anything of the cookie sort. We like cookies. Christmas cookies are really fun. A big tradition, at least on my mom's side of the family, was to anybody that comes in family-wise to my grandparents' house, which they lived on this 80 80-acre maize field for a farm, that they would always bring some sort of dessert along with them in some way. And so, yeah, definitely baking. I've held that one through. I really get the itch whenever it comes around Christmas time, or at least the holiday season, to start baking stuff. And I bake way too many cookies.
I was going to say, let's start there. Like, what are the things that you love to bake?
Right. So my favorite thing to bake would be peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, which is kind of an offshoot, because a lot of people don't think about the peanut butter part whenever they get into the chocolate chip cookie aspect. So adding that peanut butter is real nice. And everybody seems to like them whenever I kind of dole them out. My wife, Maggie, she totally brings in a cranberry relish that she's learned from her mom, which her mom learned from her mom. Awesome. And you pair that with pound cake, it is absolutely fantastic. So those are a couple things that have really popped in my world. What about you?
Yeah,
what
last
do you do?
year I decided that I wanted to start baking a little bit too, because my family has this age-old tradition of making shortbread. And I finally went to my mom and I said, I want to try this because I don't get to do I don't get it anymore because none of my family's around here, and it just doesn't travel well, right? Shortbread's one of those things you got to eat fairly quickly if you're gonna do it. And so, come to find out, there's not a lot that goes into shortbread, right? It's basically like butter,
right.
sugar, more butter, and so I tried to figure out like what are ways to make it a little healthier. Let me just go and tell you, don't mess with the shortbread, right? Like don't try to make shortbread healthy. It's just not good. So I'm just fully embracing the fact of all the butter and sugar this year again, and I'm gonna try to make some more shortbread. But my mom used to also do like she would dip the like pretzels and stuff in white and regular chocolate stuff. Did you ever have those?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so that makes me go back too. But yeah, shortbread really is a family tradition from my side of the family too, that I love to go into that, and it's really fun to make and a good thing to give out for presents as well.
Yeah, we did pretzels with caramel, however you want to say it,
Both.
and a Rolo on top or something like
Rolo?
that. Yeah, you do that on top of a pretzel. It's pretty awesome. Oh, and then sugar cookies with, I like peanut butter cup, one of the little small peanut butter cups on it, or a Hershey Kiss on top of it.
Yep.
I forgot what it was called. I think it's offensive. I can't remember. But
well, I'm glad you didn't say it.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it is. But those are super good because the outside's real nice, but then you get into the middle and it's like, oh, this is fantastic.
This is amazing.
Favorite Christmas movies?
Ooh. So we had the tradition when I was a little older, like probably high school, beyond, whatever, where when we decorated the tree, we would watch Christmas Vacation. And that was definitely our family movie, was Christmas Vacation. Loved it so much. I think it's still... I posted something on Instagram the other day of like, pick your 3 favorite movies out of the 12, and it was definitely Christmas Vacation, Elf, and Christmas Story.
Nice. Yeah, we have Christmas Story, Elf, Christmas Vacation's up there. We'll watch Charlie Brown Christmas quite a bit also.
Oh, I love Charlie Brown Christmas too.
And then, since we have kids now, the Grinch cartoon is a favorite right now also, with Benedict Cumberbatch, which is
I couldn't remember who was in that one.
Yeah, it's my favorite name. Rashida Jones is in there also, which is nice. But yeah, I like both of them, and they were in the Grinch, and that's pretty awesome to me.
I feel like Elf has kind of become the staple for our generation.
Yeah, I think Elf even more so than Christmas Story.
I do too.
I'm just curious when TBS is going to play 24 hours of Elf instead of Christmas Story. When is that tradition going to break?
Maybe you should write them.
I mean,
petition.
I'll start my own TV station. How about that? Let's do that.
The Dexter Media production.
Right.
Just all Elf all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you said Charlie Brown Christmas. That makes me think of music then. And, there's a lot of really fantastic Christmas songs. But really my favorite song that I end up singing the most is Christmas Time Is Here in Charlie Brown. Remember that? Like, Christmas time is here.
Yeah, I don't like that song because the kids are off key or off pitch.
Which is
They're
why
not
I love
in
it so
tune.
much.
It drives the notes rubbing together really bothers me a lot. It's like my least favorite. I'll listen to the whole album and I'll just skip that song because I can't stand the notes rubbing against each other.
It's a good thing you don't live with me because usually I walk around singing that for an entire month.
That's awesome.
Really high pitched, just like that, right? Like really off key as well.
Right.
Do you have favorite albums, Christmas albums?
Yeah, I think my favorite, She and Him did A Very Merry Christmas, which is Zooey Deschanel, and I forget the guy singer.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really nice. And they did Baby It's Cold Outside, the old version, which is not really appropriate anymore, but they flipped the voices where she sang the male part and he sang the female part, and it was, or what you were supposed to think anyways.
Right.
And it was really fun. Then I just got, John Legend has one called A Legendary Christmas. I just got the album on that one also.
When you say album, you mean you're rocking that vinyl?
Yeah, it's the vinyl. I mean, something about coming to this White Rock side, I start buying vinyl all of a sudden. But he does the new version of Baby It's Cold Outside, which is super nice.
Cool.
But I think my favorite Christmas song, we sung it at our wedding. It's from Sufjan Stevens' Christmas album. I got to remember what it is, but yeah, come back to me on it.
Don't tell Maggie.
I'll yell it out loud real quick. Yeah.
It's hard to beat Sufjan. His albums are so good in general, and his Christmas one's fantastic as well. I'm gonna just go ahead and confess that I'm also a Pentatonics fan. I love it, and say what you will about them, but it's nothing quite gets me in the spirit, and I'll put it on for my kids in the car, and we'll just bebop around listening to some Pentatonics albums as well.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite place that you visited for Christmas?
This is a tough question, man, because I want to say like something really traditional that deals with snow and all that kind of stuff, but a few years back when the girls were little, we all went down to Costa Rica.
That's awesome.
And it was fantastic. That also, I'm going to segue, and I'll come back to what yours is too.
Yeah.
My sweater. One of my favorite traditions currently now is ridiculous sweaters. And I fought the whole like ugly sweater game for a long time, and then I finally gave in a couple years back, and I bought Jesse and I one, and this one really I feel like represents me well, because as much as I love Christmas and the being in the cold for like a day, I really just want to be on a beach somewhere, and so I feel like Santa Claus on a beach with a palm tree here really represents who I am at heart, and so and a pirate, obviously. If I have dreadlocks, I have to be a pirate
right,
anyway.
absolutely.
Right? So clearly it all just kind of fits with who I am. But so for the next couple weeks, you'll get to see my ridiculous couple. I think I have 3 ugly sweaters. So the last week, I'll have to figure out something to improvise. But
my Christmas sweater is a Space Invader. It's the old
school
Atari game. Yeah, but it looks like garland almost across the chest. It's really nice.
Well, we'll have to get a picture sometime, and we'll post it on social so everybody can see the
absolutely
picture of your ugly Christmas sweater too. Also, I'm sad they're called ugly Christmas sweaters. They're creative Christmas sweaters.
I think they should be called awesome Christmas sweaters.
Awesome, totally awesome Christmas sweaters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, I really did. Costa Rica was a phenomenal, and that's ridiculous, but I also just love it. And so, what about you? Where's your favorite place that you've gone?
Probably my favorite place in my head. There's 2. We went to Salt Lake City, Utah one year, which was super fun. And then we used to live in Denver back in the day. And so we would go to just some different mountain places and do sledding and whatnot. A lot of it's around snow and sledding and more snowmobiling than anything, because I love snowmobiling. I think that's an underrated activity to do in life.
It is. The first time I ever went skiing, we got to do a snowmobiling thing. It was when I was in high school. And I had one friend who was a little bit accident prone, and he was the guy who definitely went off the cliff, right? Like the snowbank, where like you're all going along, and he just went a little too far to the side, and the whole thing just toppled down.
Yeah.
It is. It's good, man. Snowmobiling is way fun. I just struggle with the cold, but I hear you. It is a lot of fun.
All right, I'm just going to tell you as producer, we have 5 minutes left.
This is what he does every Sunday sit down. He'll usually like stand up and walk over and go. There was one other question I just had that I was going to ask you about. Now that you're a parent, are there traditions that you've started now as your family that were unique from what you did before, and that you just really love getting to celebrate with your kiddos? I know Benjamin's a little young to rock the Christmas spirit, but
right. I don't know if we've really established anything yet, because we're still in the place where grandparents are around for us. And we have that opportunity. We are fortunate to be able to have that. So we kind of just lean in the grandparent side, whichever place we go to for that Christmas that year. Mm-hmm. And so there's not really been anything that's kind of just been us yet. We're slowly starting to evolve into getting some Christmas activities just for our family before we head somewhere, and kind of having our moment on our family Christmas and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it probably involves something with opening like a present before Christmas Day, which I always think is fun. It's like a little sneak peek, you get a little trailer of what Christmas is going to be like, that type of thing.
Right.
I like that. And I definitely think, at least for our family, being able to do a Christmas Eve service and being involved in some way with that is really important to us also. What about y'all?
Yeah. We do a little bit of the like kind of the family presents the night before, and that's always really fun because we all put on our like Christmas PJs and hang out and like if we do hot chocolate, it's just something fun like that and kind of cozy. And so I really enjoy that aspect of it. So you were saying you flip every year. Is that how you guys typically do it as a family?
Yeah, so we're with my parents one year, and then Maggie's parents another year.
So every year we're with Jesse's family on Christmas because we spend Thanksgiving with my family, and
Gotcha.
so it's always the same people. So we have the same kind of tradition each time, which is
3
nice.
minutes left.
Other than who knows if we're going to get to do it this year, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. Right? I say that some of our family's not going to travel no matter what. So, but yeah, I really like the idea of just being able to open a couple presents the night before, and that's always really fun. And then Christmas morning is really great. We are always here being Dallas, because it turns out when you work in a church, you're always in.
Right.
You're always working Christmas Eve. I say that. We've done a couple times where they've either left early and I've hopped on a plane or something on Christmas Eve, which is always interesting. But most days we're here until Christmas Day. And then sometimes we'll go travel after that. But it turns out traveling on the holidays is actually really easy.
It's super easy.
Traveling around the holidays is a disaster.
You leaving the day before 2 days, it's pretty crazy. But leaving Christmas Day is super simple.
It's really easy. So
my dad he's been a minister his whole life.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so we've always had Christmas Eve in some capacity somewhere. And then I moved, and my jobs have been primarily in church world also. So I've always been involved, especially up to midnight. What is it? Midnight Mass? It's not midnight Mass, but whatever the candlelight. Yeah, whatever the midnight service
Candlelight
is.
service. Mm-hmm.
Candlelight service. Yeah, all the way to that end that it gets all the way up there. We have 2 minutes left.
Dose minute. Well, in this digital world, and because we're not really sure what we're going to be able to do with candlelight services, and probably not going to have one here, and maybe we will out on the front step if it's not snowing, or maybe if it is snowing, that'd be fun. What do you think you're going to do in this digital world that's going to try to help you guys celebrate Christmas, make it a little bit more special? I put you on the spot there, didn't I?
No, it's a good question. I think what we're going to do is we'll embrace what we have in front of us for sure, and we'll take the moments that we get, and then we'll love the time that we get with the family in whatever capacity that may be, whether that's on digital Zoom or FaceTime or whatever it is. Just taking those moments, and it's really hard to get bummed about what's happening this year, but you could also embrace and figure out what is a good way to look at it and move with it in some way. And I think there's something there for that.
Yeah, I think that's over the next couple of weeks. That's what's going to be our challenge, right? Is how do we, both as a church, but also as people who love techie stuff, figure out how to create fun things to do for a tech version of Christmas this year. So
30 seconds.
I love that you're wearing two hats right now. Okay, Dexter, thanks, dude.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all that you do for us always, and to your family, thanks for letting us steal him all the time. We really appreciate all that you do and making all this happen. So for all of you, thanks for tuning in for the Sunday Sit Down. We are going to talk about this for the next couple of weeks, so let us know what your favorite traditions and holidays for the holidays are. We'd love to hear them as well. Share them on social media, whatever it is. So go grab coffee, whatever you need to do before we jump into worship, and we'll look forward to kicking off Advent 1 here in worship here in just a couple minutes. So thanks for being with us today.